Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Paul, and I am the infrastructure nerd, and you are lucky enough to be attending the last possible day we could have had at the November 2015 Worldox virtual user group meeting, where today we are lucky enough to be talking about the email tab, that thing that nobody knows what to do when they get on it because they didn't even know it was there. So we're going to explain what it is and what it means and why sometimes it's good and why sometimes it's not all that exciting and how you can set certain things in there. And Mary Jo and I are going to kind of trade off these topics. We're going to press the magic buttons, and we are going to, there's so many magic buttons, I just never know what to do with them all. And we are going to get into Worldox, and I am going to start off by showing you this mysterious thing that you may have never even noticed was there. It's right here. Now, we're in Worldox GX4. If you're in GX3 still, it may look slightly different, but this very leftmost tab of all the tabs that you have either opened up or that have just appeared magically when you've opened the software, this one is always there. And honest to God, I've had people that have had the software for 3 or 4 years and they've never been in here. So what happens is they click it one day and they're like, oh, what is that? And then, since they don't know how they clicked it, because usually when you click it and you don't know where you are, you clicked it by mistake, then they're like, I'm stuck in my email. It's always fun. That's what it is. It's your email. Now, my email happens to look at everyone else's email box plus mine, and I've got inbox, and I've got junk mail, and I've got contacts, and I've got all the things. These are all the things that you would see if you went over to my email and looked at my inbox. There are all the folders there, and here are all the folders here. Same thing. So if we look at my inbox, here's a video production Basecamp notification that shows up in my Outlook, and it shows up right here. This is my inbox. These are my draft items. This is my deleted items. Everything that you have in Outlook, you have here. Now, I go into new sites, and people see this right away, and they say, oh, I'm going to manage all my email from here. Well, this ain't Outlook, okay? And so there are certain things that you're used to using in Outlook that you're not going to get here. Now, you will have the ability to move to Worldox and copy to Worldox just like you do in Outlook, and you can delete, and you can open up an email, and you can create a new message. But there are certain things that you can do in Outlook that you can't do here. And so therefore, we recommend that day-to-day management of your email probably still belongs in Outlook. It's nice to be able to come over here and see your inbox and do these things, spur of the moment right away in Worldox. But for day-to-day management of your email, nothing quite beats being able to do it through Outlook, okay? So I'm going to go back into Worldox, and we're going to talk about some other things that you want to be aware of that you can and should do from here. And Mary Jo's going to take the first one, which I can't remember what it was, but she'll tell you.
If we go under the edit button, this is where we're going to be focused most of our time on. I'm going to talk about address rules a little bit. And then we're going to get into some quick profiles and signature. These are some things that are specific for Worldox that we want to talk about. So address rules. What this is going to control is whether or not you get automatically prompted, whether you're in Outlook or, wherever, when you send an email, is that going to pop up and ask you to profile it into Worldox? Now, some people love that, and they want that to prompt, every single time they send an email. And sometimes that's a firm-wide decision that has been made, that it will pop every time, and then you will have to manually say yes or no that you want to profile that and turn it off, or yes, you do want to send it. But sometimes we want to just set some global rules and say, you know what, if this is my Aunt Sue and I'm going to, get emails from her all the time and I don't want to put those into Worldox, I want to set a rule that's going to always ignore emails that have her address on it when I'm sending. if you want to ignore all external or internal addresses, I don't want to profile internal emails to Worldox. We can set rules to control that, and that's where it's done, is actually in Worldox underneath the email tab under Edit and Address Rules. Now, you'll see that we have some set up already that we're ignoring, and you can see them for all people because rules can be set up for everyone. If you're a manager or have the rights to do that, you can set up rules for everyone that this is the way it's going to be. You can set up your own personal ones, or we can set up public ones. So basically, you're going to have personal or public, and then you can see all, and that's what we have. So if I look at our personal ones, we've got some in here, and I'm going to click on this top one, because what this is doing is it's setting up an address if it's, I'm not sure which I have up right now, but one is for internal, one's for external. And it's ignoring certain things. And you're going to ask it to do different things on your rule. So it may say, no, don't ever ask me, if it's all internal or external. Or in this case, I'm setting up a rule to tell it to always ask me for internal and external emails. So this one is, yes, ask me. If that pops up, I want to know. And if I have the rights to do it, I can set it up for just me or for everyone. This is what I'm doing, is saying yes or no, or it depends on other addresses, and then we can click that as well. So these things can be set for either a specific email, or in this case it's an asterisk at asterisk, which is all emails. I believe this is external. And if I go into the other ignore, there's a little code here that is also saying it equals, and like I said, I don't remember which is which, but if you come in and set up a new rule, let's add one, and we say all internal, you can just tell it, and it'll put that code in there automatically. And that's what I'm saying. I don't remember which is the internal and external in there, but one is one and one is the other.
So what you're saying, Mary Jo, is that you set up two rules
yes,
if you want to ignore everything?
One is for internal and one is for external, and that will do that. Or you can go into your address book and you can find different addresses, or you can type in a specific address that you want to ignore all the time,
so if
or
I
ask you all the time.
If I say I want to ignore all internal, that means when I'm emailing you or Leanne or anybody at Attorney Computer Systems?
That's correct.
Okay, and then all external would be everybody else.
Correct.
Now, what if I just wanted to ignore Aunt Sally?
Then you would type in Aunt Sally's address here in the specific address, and you would say, no, don't ask every single time. And you would set up only for you, because maybe Aunt Sally is emailing somebody else in the firm, and they do want to profile hers, but I don't know if that's the case. But yeah, this is a personal one. This would be the personal one you're setting up for you. So be very careful if you do have rights to do this, that you don't accidentally block an email address for everyone. And this shouldn't even be available unless you've been given rights to do it. But if you are in that position and you're setting up a rule, just be careful when you say everyone, because it will be for everyone. And they will not be able to, it's not going to pop. It's not going to ask them if they want to send it to Worldox. They will have to manually go into their sent box and manually say copy or move to Worldox. It will not just pop the message. So this is where you go in, and this is where you set that. Sometimes people will say, well, it's not popping anymore. Or they might have accidentally, when the box did pop, sometimes it'll ask you, do you want to copy, move, or ignore? And it can ask you if you want to ignore it always. And sometimes you accidentally click that box, your mouse jumps or something happens, and all of a sudden it's not asking you anymore for that email address because you've hit that ignore always or ignore all the time. And so then it ends up on this list. And so if you just go in and view your rules, you would be able to see that address in here, that full email address, and see that you have blocked it. You can even click on it and edit it like I did, and you can see what this box is set to. And if it's set to do not ask and you didn't mean to do that, you can just go back and say, yes, ask me again, and then save it, and that pops it up. Yeah. Or you can delete the rule. That's true. You can just delete that rule right out of there.
So if you've got that guy that hates getting asked by Worldox if you want to journal the emails, you just come in here then and you create two rules, one for all internal and one for all external, and you say no, no, no for each of them.
And that's just for him.
And it'll never ask him again if he wants to journal an email when he sends it. Mm-hmm. So this is a way to get that one guy to shut up.
Nice. I wouldn't put it that way, but okay. All right. So that's where it is. Under the address rules, this is what's determining whether or not Worldox will pop or not pop when you send an email address from Worldox.
So normally, if you've been in here and you've been sending emails for a couple of weeks and you've had Worldox for a couple of weeks, and you want to journal everything, you should have nothing in those address
That's right.
rules. Okay.
It should be empty.
And if you accidentally set one up as not asking you anymore, when you come in here, you'll see that and you can just get rid of it.
That's
it
true.
will keep asking you. Okay.
Yep.
So bottom line is you can choose on a per person basis. You can choose for everyone, or you can say just the internals I want to ignore and just the externals I want to not ignore. A lot of flexibility there.
Yep.
Okay. Now, another thing about Worldox is that it's a great way to send emails with attachments right from Worldox. So I'm not talking about what you would do on this email tab, but if you're, let's say, in your favorite files and you want to send this, you just want to send, I don't have anything that's not an email, but that's all right. I spend all my time journaling emails. So let's say you want to take this email and send it as an attachment. All you have to do is, you don't even have to check it if it's the only thing. You just have to click this email button. Or if you wanted to send both these emails, you can do that. And we're not here to talk about how you send emails. People should know that. But what I'm talking about is this signature. When I do this, look at this. Hey, it's the equivalent of the blue screen of death. I've just lost Worldox right in the middle of the Worldox virtual user group meeting. So, hey, I'm going to go out here.
See, it's not just our users that always end up with little fun things
we
that
get
happen.
These things every once in a while.
I think you've had this idle forever, Paul, and you probably haven't been doing anything. I don't think Paul ever shuts down his computer. I'm just going to kind of,
That's why you have to reboot the server every week.
Yeah, I have to do a lot of things because you're not getting out of your programs.
Mm-hmm. Okay, we got Worldox back.
All right. I was trying to stall. Did you see that?
Yeah,
I was trying to fill some time
good.
there for you, Paul.
Yeah, you did a great job of stalling and throwing me under the bus at the same time.
That's tact. Yeah.
So if we're going to send, let's send this, okay? So we can either check multiple files or we can just click on one. I'm going to send a full copy. And you'll notice that I don't get a signature. You can tell I don't send files through Worldox because I haven't set this up. So what a lot of people will do is they'll say, oh, gosh, I got to come in here and I got to select my signature every time. No, you don't. If you simply take your signature, copy it, and I'm going to actually then close up this email because I'm done with it for now. I'm going to go back over to this email tab, and I'm going to go up to Edit, Signature. Be sure to pay attention to the two yellow blocks. They tell you what to do. They say, edit your signature below. When done, press Escape. So I'm going to paste this in. It says, be sure to have at least one blank line above and below the signature. Got it. I already got that. That's part of my signature the way it is. I press Escape because that's what it told me to do. A lot of people want to hit send. Where are you going to send it? Nowhere. So I'm going to press Escape. Yes, I want to save changes. And now, when I go over to my favorite files and highlight that same document and hit email, I'm going to do a full copy, and I end up with an email that has that document attached and has my signature. So very important, if you've lived your whole life in Worldox not knowing that you could get Worldox to put the signature in with an email that you start in Worldox, then all you need to know is that if you go into Worldox, click on the email tab right there, click on Edit, and then Signature. You can paste it in there, and it will always pop up for you the right way, okay? So keep that in mind and get that set up the right way. What else are we talking about in here, Mary Jo?
The last thing is the quick profiles.
Quick profiles. That's
so
right.
If we click on the quick profiles, we can set up a quick profile for our emails in here. So if there's a certain client you want to put in, usually I leave this stuff blank. I have my author and typist set as me. Sometimes I'll put my doc type in here as, either a browse the doc table. If this is email, I might default this to being email so that I have that. And then I can save my defaults in here, and then that can be what my default is when I'm doing the emails. Or I can create, like here we've got some of them that are specific for emails, so I can add a new quick profile and set that up. Here's my add quick profile, and I'm going to do this. See, I don't have the save defaults anymore because sometimes I don't want that to be my default for everything. I just want this for the email. So I'm going to put this one in and say OK, and I'll give it a name that this is MJ email. I mean, this could be whatever. I'm going to do it just for me and say OK. And now I've got a new quick profile out here that I've set up for myself. And then I can just have that be my, when I save an email, that's what's already pre-filled in for me. So I don't have to go and fill that in every single time. All I have to do then is just pick the client and the matter. So if I'm in here and I go to Edit, Quick Profiles, and go in and set that up. Now I'm clicking over here as to where I want, that to be, and adding and creating it. Right now you'll see I don't have that email in there because I'm just looking at my default screen for my quick profile. But if I click on this one, if I can get into it, I don't know if I can, there it is. I can get to my email, and we're logged in as Paul, so we are seeing his author and typist in there. So that's my default. All I would have to do then when I save my emails, put in client matter. Makes it a little quicker. You can fill in other things if there's a quick profile. Like I think he's got some set up in here for George, for Lewis, for other client, for Tom. These are all quick profiles you can set up in here, and you might fill in that client. And then you can just decide which quick profile you want to use as you're journaling an email. You can pop that in, and this will pop up, and you can say, I want to do the Lewis quick profile. Lewis is already in there. Email and Paul Perdue is already in there. If I'm sending to Tom, I have certain ones that are profiling there. So you can create as many of these as you want that you can then, for your main clients that you're using. And then all you have to do is just click one button instead of filling these in every single time. That's the goal.
It can get even more exciting. Is that if you're in here, those end up showing up down here. So here is that George and Lewis and other client and Tom. So if I had these things all needing to go to Tom, I can just mark them all and drag them over to Tom and let go and profile them all at once.
Yep. And so there's my MJ email.
Yep. Oops,
so that's already done over in Outlook. So same thing. I can drag it from my normal Outlook then. Once I've set up the quick profiles in Worldox, they're going to come right over here, and I can just drag and drop and do whatever I want in there.
Exactly. And so a lot of people, they see this, and they want to set they've just discovered it, and they don't know how to get in there. It's really just a matter of coming into this email tab, going up here to Edit and Quick Profiles, and that's how you can set up these quick profiles to show up right in your Outlook email. Very cool, especially if you have certain matters that you're wanting to profile all the time. Now, the new GX4 automatically creates favorite matters and puts those right into Outlook for you. But some of these you'll notice, other than Lewis and other client, these three aren't even for the client profile group. They aren't for the client cabinet. And so therefore I had to create them in here because GX4, Worldox GX4 will only create your favorite matters in the client matter cabinet. It won't create, if you have a separate cabinet for Office or I have one for email, then it won't create those for you. This is how you do it. You have to do it yourself.
And then if you need to go in and edit or delete these, like I don't want to keep this MJ email on Paul's Outlook, so I can right-click on that and I can delete it, or if I had to change it and edit it, I could always come into that profile and maybe I wanted to fill in a client matter, I wanted to change something, I could change it, give it a different description in there, email, whatever it would be. I could edit it, or I can just right-click and I can delete it out of there. And then I'm going to go ahead and delete that quick profile out. So if you start getting some over there and you're like, I really don't want this, then there's a quick profile, just come in here and right-click and you can delete it out of there. You're not deleting any emails that you've dragged into that quick profile. Those are all still in Worldox. You're just deleting the profile itself so you don't have this big, long list of people out there. It's like, especially like Paul said, if you've got GX4 and it's automatically creating those and you don't need that client anymore because it's closed, you can just go over and just delete that quick profile. Documents will still remain in Worldox. So.
Okay, Leanne has just informed me that it is the opportune time for her to interrupt us to ask a question. Leanne?
Rebecca would like to know how accessible those emails are when saved to Worldox when you're trying to view them on your cell phone.
Well, they're not in... They're still in Outlook if you have copied them to Worldox. So if you're looking to view them on your cell phone, and if your cell phone has access to your Exchange folders and they're still in there, then you can still see them. However, I want to point out, if you move them to Worldox and they're no longer in Exchange, in order to see them then on your cell phone, you'd need to have Worldox Web Mobile or some way to see them on your cell phone that's going to show you Worldox, because at that point they're in Worldox. They're no longer in Exchange, so really they're not, unless you've set up some way to be able to do that. And that usually goes beyond the scope of what a firm will set up when they set up Worldox. We have a couple clients that have Worldox Web Mobile set up, but most of them don't. So at that point, they're in kind of in the document store and not accessible. However, I do want to point out, if you didn't move them to Worldox, and in fact you just copied them to Worldox, then they're still in Outlook, or I should say they're still in Exchange, and therefore your cell phone should still be able to see them. But it's going to see them from the Exchange perspective of being in your sent items or in your deleted items or in your inbox, rather than from the Worldox perspective of being journaled or profiled to this matter or that matter or to this cabinet or that cabinet.
So you can't see the Worldox folders on your phone.
Okay. That's a different question. I think I may have misunderstood the question. The Worldox folders that you create that show up here in Outlook, these are actually Exchange folders. So if you're, and actually what I've done is I've opened up Worldox within Outlook. I didn't quite mean to do that. I'm going to go back to deleted items. If your phone is set up to look at Outlook or look at Exchange, then your phone will see these folders. And so if you drag these over to, on your phone, if you move it from your inbox or from your sent items to one of these folders, then it will journal into Worldox the next time you open Outlook on your machine. So yes, these folders are Exchange folders. These quick profile folders that are being set up in your Outlook are Exchange folders. They are visible from your phone. They are visible from any internet-connected device, a tablet, a phone, from its native email app, like your iPhone's email app. As long as that device, that iPhone, that Android phone, is set up to access your Exchange mail, which in most instances with the firms that we're dealing with, they're using Exchange servers. They're setting up their phones to look at their Exchange server. So yes, they will be visible on your phone. Now, you will not be able to see those emails because once you drop something into this folder, it's no longer in this folder. This folder is just like a shortcut to throw it into Worldox. So once you drop, you'll be able to see these folders and you'll be able to move things from your inbox or your sent items to these folders.
Yes, you can. I can see my emails that I've put into Lewis Wagner. I can see all the emails I've dragged over there. Maybe I've copied them.
Only because...
Maybe they're the copied ones? I'm not sure.
Only because they haven't been journaled yet. Did you do that today?
No, and I don't usually drag them. So I think they're just being in there because I've put them in. I'm not sure if I'm answering getting off on a different subject to your topic, but mine, I don't drag them into the folder. I just copy or usually move my emails to there, so I might have something totally different, so I don't want to get off track.
I think you might, because it's my understanding that once they go into that folder, they're moved into Worldox, and they don't live there anymore.
Okay, that could be because most of mine are no mail in there, but there's one that does, so that's kind of odd.
Yeah, that might be like a differently set up folder.
Okay, but you can see the folders, for sure.
Yeah,
I
you
do
can
see all
see
of
the
the
folders because the folders are Exchange folders, but what they really are is shortcuts for Worldox to take those emails and put them into Worldox. Mm-hmm. So I hope that answered the question. I hope I didn't confuse people. I hope we at least got one of the question answered with one of our answers. Mm-hmm. Okay, so that's that. That's the email tab. I want to tell you that next month we're going to be talking about auditing. Mary Jo is going to be talking about that. Everything you do in Worldox is audited. When you open a document, when you look at a document, when you delete a document, if you move a document from one place to another and then can't remember where you put it, everything's audited, meaning that we can find out where that went. We can find out what happened. And people use the audit logs for a lot of different things. Sometimes attorneys use it to say, what did I work on today? What should I bill for? Sometimes people use it when they accidentally moved something to the wrong place and they can't find it and they want to know where they moved it. So Mary Jo is going to introduce that concept and talk about that. And I'm going to talk about favorite matters, which we kind of touched on today, but we're going to go into great detail about favorite matters, how you can make them, how they get made automatically, all that stuff. Now, before we go, I do want to show you our massive video content and how you can find out what the topics are for the upcoming virtual user group meetings. I'm going to take you to Attorney Computer Systems. Oh, I clicked on the wrong thing there. AttorneyComputerSystems.com. Careful of that S at the end, it's plural. AttorneyComputerSystems.com. And if you click on videos, you'll see all of our water cooler virtual user group meetings, the tabs, Practice Master and Worldox virtual user group meetings. You'll see the Coffee Pot webinars that I do each month on some sort of a feature or add-on to one of our products that we work with, Mary Jo's eBite video series, and our Paul and Mary Jo show. So all this video content is there for you. If you simply click on the word videos, you'll be taken to a separate page that describes what each of these things is and lets you go into depth and look at the actual listing. So if I click on more info under Worldox Virtual User Group Meetings, I'm going to the Worldox page where we see that the December 21st topic is going to be the auditing and the favorite matters. And you'll see registration information because that's an upcoming live event that you can register for. And you'll see as you scroll down recorded versions of every Worldox Virtual User Group meeting that we have ever recorded. And we've been doing this for a long time, and we've been recording them for a long time. So there's a lot of content here that you can take advantage of when you have a question or when you want to get in depth on something, or if you aren't able to attend one that you'd like to see, you can always come back later and see the recorded version. And you can also search. So if we wanted to talk about auditing, well, that may not have been the best word to search for. If we want to talk about, learn about searching in Worldox, we might type the word search here, and we either hit enter or we take the pop-up list of suggestions, and here are all sorts of videos dealing with search, some in Practice Master, some in tabs, and some in Worldox. So be sure to take advantage of all this video content. We have a lot of fun making it. We certainly, we are certain that people have a lot of fun watching them, so please be one of those people.
We hope.
And take advantage of that. That's it for today, everybody. Have a good rest of the month, and we will see you just a couple days before Christmas when we talk about auditing and favorite matters. Thanks much. Bye-bye.